First contact and revelation. The vastness of space had long ceased to impress Captain Elena Chen. After 15 years commanding the UES Hyperion, one of humanity's most advanced deep space exploration vessels, the endless void between stars had become merely a workplace. Her crew of 35 represented Earth's finest: scientists, tactical officers, and specialists handpicked for humanity's most ambitious mission, yet to explore the Cygnus Arm, a spiral of stars previously untouched by human presence. Captain, we're detecting unusual energy signatures from the Kepler-63 system. Lieutenant Sanjay Mehta reported, his dark eyes fixed on the holographic display. Unlike anything in our database. Elena straightened in her command chair. The Hyperion had been mapping this sector for weeks with nothing remarkable to show for it. Natural phenomenon. Negative, replied Science Officer Dr. Maya Wong, her fingers dancing across the interface. The patterns suggest artificial origin, highly advanced technology. This was precisely why humanity had ventured so far from Earth, the search for other intelligent life. Despite centuries of listening to the stars, humanity had found only ruins and remnants of long-dead civilizations, never anything still alive, still thriving. Set course for Kepler-63, Elena ordered. All departments on high alert. First contact protocols in effect. As the Hyperion approached the system, the crew grew silent with anticipation. The main view screen displayed what appeared to be a perfectly ordinary yellow star, with several planets orbiting at various distances. "I don't see anything unusual," Tactical Officer Commander Riza Karim muttered. "Look at the fourth planet," Maya pointed. "Those aren't natural formations." The image zoomed in on a blue-green world that seemed, at first glance, much like Earth. But as the resolution increased, Elena's breath caught. Spanning across the planet's surface were delicate, crystalline structures, massive geometric patterns that glittered even from orbit. Some rose into the atmosphere, forming impossible towers that seemed to defy gravity. "Life signs?" Elena asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Billions," Maya confirmed, "but unlike anything in our biological database." Before Elena could respond, the ship's communication system activated on its own. The view screen flickered, and a cascade of light patterns appeared, flowing, interconnected symbols that shifted and changed. "They've detected us," Reza said, his hand instinctively moving toward the tactical controls. "Stand down," Elena ordered. "They're trying to communicate." The ship's AI immediately began analyzing the patterns. "Captain, I believe these are mathematical sequences, universal constants expressed through light." Elena nodded. "First contact 101. Mathematics as the universal language. Respond in kind. Send basic numerical sequences, physical constants." For hours, the exchange continued, gradually increasing in complexity. The ship's AI and Maya's team worked feverishly to establish a common communication framework. Finally, after nearly 20 hours of continuous effort, words began to form. "We are the Luminar. You are welcome, humans of Earth." The message sent a chill through Elena's spine. They already knew who and what humanity was, despite this being first contact. "Request permission to enter orbit and establish formal diplomatic relations," Elena responded. The answer came swiftly. "Granted. We have much to share." The Hyperion entered orbit around the planet, which the Luminar called Immerse, and a delegation was prepared. Elena selected herself, Maya, Sanjay, and the ship's diplomatic officer, Commander Lion Park, to make first contact on the surface. As their shuttle descended through the atmosphere, the true scale of Luminar civilization became apparent. Their cities weren't built so much as grown, living architecture that responded to its inhabitants' needs. Towers of crystalline material rose miles into the sky, connected by bridges of pure light. The shuttle was guided to a platform that materialized before their eyes, solidifying from particles in the air. "Their level of technological advancement is," Lion struggled to find the words, "centuries beyond ours." Maya finished. Maybe millennia. When the shuttle doors opened, Alina steeled herself for whatever alien form might greet them. But what awaited them was both unexpected and strangely familiar. The Luminar appeared humanoid, though their bodies seemed composed of light-given solid form. Their features were fluid, shifting subtly as if in response to thoughts or emotions. They stood slightly taller than humans, with elongated limbs and graceful movements. One stepped forward, its form becoming more defined as it approached. "I am Elior, speaker for the Luminar Conclave. We welcome you to Immerse." Alina performed a formal bow. "Captain Alina Chen of the United Earth ship Hyperion. We come in peace and friendship." "We know," Elior replied, with what seemed like amusement. "We have been watching your species for some time. Your journey to the stars has been remarkable." The revelation that humanity had been observed without their knowledge was unsettling, but Alina maintained her diplomatic composure. "We're honored to make your acquaintance. We have much to learn from each other." "More than you realize," Elior said, suddenly solemn. "Please, follow me." The human delegation was led through the living city, marveling at technology so advanced it appeared magical. The Luminar had mastered matter manipulation at the quantum level, energy generation from the fabric of space-time itself, and biological engineering that blurred the line between organism and machine. They arrived at what Elior called the Nexus, a vast spherical chamber at the heart of the city, where countless light streams converged from all directions. "This is our central data repository and communication hub," Elior explained. "It connects all Luminar across Immerse and our other settlements throughout this galaxy." "Other settlements?" Maya asked, astonished. "You've colonized multiple star systems. Over 10,000 worlds," Elior confirmed casually. "Though colonized is perhaps not the right term. We integrate with environments rather than conquering them." The scale of their civilization was humbling. Humanity had managed to establish outposts on a handful of planets in nearby star systems, and considered that a monumental achievement. "Why reveal yourselves to us now?" Alina asked the question that had been nagging at her since their arrival. "If you've been watching humanity, you could have made contact years ago." Elior's form dimmed slightly. "Because we need you, Captain Chen. Despite all our advancements, we face a threat we cannot overcome alone." The Nexus illuminated with a three-dimensional star map, focusing on a region of space beyond the edge of the Milky Way. A darkness spread there, consuming stars one by one. "We call them the Void. They are not a species as you understand life. They are an anti-pattern, a cosmic anomaly that consumes energy and dissolves the bonds of matter itself." Alina watched as simulated stars winked out of existence in the projection. "And they're coming here, to our galaxy." "They already are here," Elior corrected. "At their current rate of expansion, they will reach your solar system within 50 years, ours perhaps sooner." With respect, Reza interjected, "If your civilization is as advanced as it appears, surely you have the technology to stop them." "We have tried," Elior replied, the luminescence of their form fluctuating with what Alina interpreted as frustration. "For millennia, we have focused on harmony, on growth through cooperation with the natural order. The Void is fundamentally opposed to everything we are. Our attempts to contain it have only accelerated its expansion." "I don't understand," Alina said. "What could humans possibly offer that could help against a threat your civilization can't handle?" Elior's form brightened. "Something we lost long ago in our evolution. Something we observe in your species with great interest." A pause. "Chaos." "I beg your pardon." Alina was confused. "Creativity born of struggle. Adaptation through conflict. The ability to think in ways that defy established patterns," Elior explained. "Humans are magnificently unpredictable. You fight when you should retreat. You improvise when you should calculate. You succeed when all logical outcomes suggest failure." Maya leaned forward, intrigued. "You're saying you need our human unpredictability." "Precisely. The Void operates by breaking down patterns, Your species thrives by constantly creating new ones in unexpected ways. Elior gestured, and the Nexus displayed images from human history, innovations born from crisis, victories snatched from seemingly inevitable defeat. We propose an alliance, Elior continued. Our technology and resources, combined with your unique cognitive approach. Together, we might develop solutions neither of us could conceive alone. Elena exchanged glances with her team. The implications were staggering. Humanity, barely a spacefaring civilization, being asked to help save an ancient, vastly superior species, and potentially their own future as well. We would need to consult with Earth, Elena said cautiously. Of course, Elior agreed, but know that time is precious. The void accelerates as it consumes more energy. What was once a distant threat now approaches with increasing speed. As they returned to the Hyperion to send their report back to Earth, Elena contemplated the strange twist of fate. Humanity had ventured into space, seeking knowledge and discovery. Instead, they found themselves drafted into a cosmic war for survival. What do you think? She asked Maya as they prepared the transmission. I think everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe just changed, Maya replied. And I think we're going to prove Elior right about human unpredictability. Elena nodded, staring at the beautiful, impossible cities of the Luminar below. Send the Messalliance and transformation. 6 months after first contact, the Hyperion was no longer recognizable as a human vessel. Integration of Luminar technology had transformed the ship into a hybrid creation, a physical manifestation of the alliance between the two civilizations. Crystalline structures now grew from the hull, housing energy systems that drew power directly from subspace. The interior spaces morphed and adapted to crew needs in real time, a living environment rather than a static construction. Elena stood in the newly created synthesis chamber, where teams of humans and Luminar worked side by side. Earth had responded to the crisis with remarkable speed, sending their finest minds to work with the Luminar. The chamber pulsed with holographic displays showing the void's advance, a creeping darkness consuming stars at the galaxy's edge. The simulations still show failure, Dr. Kavita Sharma, Earth's leading quantum physicist, reported with frustration. Even with Luminar computational systems, we can't find a solution that stops the void's expansion. Beside her, the Luminar scientist, Thalas's form dimmed with concern. The difficulty lies in the void's nature. It is not merely consuming energy. It is unraveling the fabric of reality itself. Our conventional approaches are insufficient. Elena had seen this pattern repeat over weeks of collaboration. The Luminar offered incredible technological capabilities, but remained locked in established thinking patterns. Meanwhile, the human scientists proposed wildly creative solutions that often proved physically impossible to implement. We're overthinking this, interrupted Lieutenant Commander Jackson Yu, the Hyperion's engineering chief. His approach had always been practical rather than theoretical. We keep trying to stop the void or contain it. What if we redirect it instead? Thalas tilted their luminescent head. Redirect. The void is not a river or an asteroid. It is a fundamental breakdown of cosmic structure. Everything responds to pressure, Jackson insisted, even space-time itself. He manipulated the holographic display, showing the region where the void seemed to be advancing most quickly. Look here, it's taking the path of least resistance, following energy gradients. Elena watched as understanding dawned on Kavita's face. He's right. The void isn't expanding uniformly. It's flowing like a fluid, seeking the highest energy concentrations. So we create a pressure gradient, Jackson continued, excitement building in his voice. A massive energy differential that forces the void to flow in a different direction. Thalas flickered with skepticism. The energy requirements would be incalculable. Not if we use the energy of the void itself against it, Kavita countered. A feedback loop. For the first time in weeks, Elena felt a spark of genuine hope. This was exactly what the Luminar had sought from humanity, the ability to think orthogonally to established wisdom, to propose solutions that defied conventional logic. "Make it happen," she ordered. "Coordinate with the Luminar Conclave. I want a prototype ready for testing within 2 weeks." Those 2 weeks became the most intense period of collaboration in human history. Thousands of scientists and engineers across Earth worked remotely with the team on Immerse, sharing insights and building upon each other's ideas. The Luminar provided access to their vast technological knowledge, while humans contributed the creative leaps that connected disparate concepts. Sage to Earth. Tell them we found our future and it needs our help. The result was the Nexus Array, a series of massive devices that would generate precisely calibrated energy fields to manipulate the flow of the void. The theory suggested that by creating artificial high-energy zones away from populated systems, they could essentially bait the void into following a predetermined path, eventually leading it to a region of empty space where its expansion would harm nothing. "It's ready," Jackson announced on the 14th day, standing before the prototype. The device itself was beautiful, a fusion of human practical design and Luminar crystalline technology, pulsing with energy that seemed alive. "We have one opportunity to test this before full deployment," Alina reminded everyone. "The Luminar Council has identified a small incursion of the void in an unpopulated system near the galactic rim. We deploy tomorrow." The journey to the test site took mere hours using the Luminar's advanced propulsion technology. As they approached, Alina could see the void with her own eyes for the first time, not merely darkness, but an absence, a place where the stars and space itself seemed to be unraveling. It sent shivers down her spine. Deploying the array, Jackson reported from his station. The device separated into its component parts, each taking position around the edge of the void incursion. When activated, they generated a complex pattern of energy fields, intentionally asymmetrical, creating a distinct gradient leading away from the incursion's current path. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. The void continued its slow expansion in all directions. "It's not working," Thales observed, their luminescence dimming. "Give it time," Kavita insisted. "The effect isn't instantaneous." Another 5 minutes passed. Alina felt hope beginning to fade, until Maya called out from her sensor station. "Movement. The expansion rate is changing. It's flowing along the gradient." The view screen confirmed it. The void was indeed responding, its expansion slowing in most directions, while accelerating along the path they had created with the energy fields. "It's working," Alina breathed, scarcely believing their success. The celebration was short-lived. Without warning, the void's behavior changed. Instead of following the energy gradient as predicted, it seemed to adapt, sending tendrils of nothingness directly toward the array devices. "It's targeting the array," Jackson shouted. "How is that possible?" "It's learning," Maya realized with horror, responding to our intervention. "Withdraw the array immediately," Alina ordered. But it was too late. 3 of the 7 devices were engulfed by the void's sudden expansion, disappearing as if they had never existed. The remaining units barely escaped as the Hyperion pulled them back. In the aftermath, the mood on the ship was somber. What had seemed like a breakthrough had revealed an even more terrifying truth. The void wasn't merely a mindless cosmic phenomenon. It possessed some form of intelligence, some ability to recognize and counter threats to its expansion. "We underestimated it," Thales admitted in the emergency conference that followed. "This changes everything." "Not everything," Alina countered. "We proved the basic principle works." The void responded to the energy gradient exactly as predicted, before it adapted. "So we need to adapt faster than it can," Jackson suggested. "Make the array's patterns unpredictable, constantly changing." Helier, who had joined the mission as the Luminar representative, spoke up. "This is precisely why we sought humanity's help. Our civilization would have abandoned this approach after the first failure. You immediately seek to iterate, to improve. That's because we're used to failing," Alina said with a grim smile. "Human history is essentially a long series of failures followed by adaptation and eventual success. Over the next month, the Alliance implemented what they called the chaotic array strategy. Instead of a single approach, they deployed multiple arrays with randomized energy patterns, constantly shifting and evolving. Human AIs worked alongside Luminar intelligence systems to generate unpredictable sequences that the Void couldn't easily counter. The strategy showed promise in small-scale tests, but would require massive resources for full implementation. The Luminar committed their vast industrial capacity, while Earth contributed the one resource they had in abundance: human ingenuity and determination. As the deployment date for the full-scale operation approached, Alina found herself on Immerse once more, standing before the Luminar conclave, their version of a governing body. The chamber was filled with hundreds of their luminescent forms, creating a spectacle of living light. "You have accomplished what we believed impossible," the conclave elder addressed her. "Your species has proven itself beyond our highest expectations." "The work isn't finished," Alina reminded them. "The operation begins tomorrow, and success is far from guaranteed." "True," the elder acknowledged, "but you have already changed us irrevocably. For millennia, we evolved toward perfect harmony and predictability. We lost something essential along the way: the chaos that drives true innovation." Alina understood then what this alliance truly meant. The Luminar hadn't merely sought human help against the Void. They had recognized a fundamental lack in their own development. Despite their incredible advancement, they had reached an evolutionary dead end. Perfect, but static. "Perhaps that's the real reason we found each other," she suggested. "Not just to fight the Void, but to help each other become more than we were." The operation began at dawn the following day. Thousands of array devices were deployed in a vast network across the frontier of Void expansion. The combined fleet of human and Luminar vessels maintained position, ready to adjust the arrays as needed based on the Void's reactions. The initial response was promising. The Void's expansion slowed dramatically as it encountered the chaotic energy patterns. But as before, it began to adapt, targeting the arrays with increasing precision. "It's learning faster than we anticipated," Maya reported from her station. "Adaptation rate has doubled since our last encounter." "Implement Protocol Omega," Alina ordered. Protocol Omega was their contingency plan, a radical approach that even the Luminar had initially resisted. Instead of trying to redirect the Void, they would force it to consume itself. Jackson's team had discovered that the Void's expansion created a specific energy signature at its boundaries. By precisely mirroring that signature with the arrays, they could potentially trick the Void into attacking itself, creating a feedback loop of self-consumption. The risk was enormous. If the theory proved wrong, they would essentially be feeding the Void, accelerating its expansion rather than containing it. "Arrays reconfigured," Jackson confirmed. "Initiating Protocol Omega in 3, 2, 1. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Where the arrays projected their mirrored energy patterns, the Void's expansion didn't merely stop. It reversed, collapsing inward upon itself like a star going supernova in reverse. "It's working," Kavita exclaimed, watching the readings with disbelief. For hours, they maintained the configuration as the Void continued its implosion. What had been a growing threat to the galaxy was now shrinking, consuming itself in a process that defied conventional physics. When it was finally over, what remained was not empty space but something new, a stable region of altered spacetime, glimmering with possibilities. "What is it?" Alina asked as they studied the readings. "We're not entirely sure," Thales admitted. "It appears to be a self-sustaining pocket of alternative physics, a bubble universe with its own rules, contained within our own." The implications were staggering. In solving one crisis, they had potentially discovered an entirely new frontier of science: the ability to create and shape pocket universes with customized physical laws. In the months that followed, the alliance between humanity and the Luminar deepened. Earth received technological advancements that would have taken centuries to develop independently, while the Luminar absorbed human creativity and adaptability, incorporating it into their culture in ways that revitalized their ancient civilization. 1 year after the defeat of the Void, Alina stood on the observation deck of the Noob Alliance headquarters, a massive space station orbiting a neutral point between Earth and Immerse. The structure itself was a perfect blend of human and Luminar design philosophy, practical yet beautiful. Elior joined her, their luminescent form now incorporating subtle elements of human appearance, an increasingly common adaptation among the Luminar who worked closely with humans. The first joint colony ships depart next week, Elior mentioned. 10,000 human and Luminar pioneers seeking new worlds together. Elina nodded, watching the stars. A year ago, we thought we were alone in the universe. Now we're reshaping it together. There is a human concept I have come to appreciate, Elior said. Serendipity, finding something valuable while seeking something else entirely. We went looking for neighbors and found family instead, Elina agreed. And together, we're stronger than either of us could have been alone. As they gazed at the vast galaxy spread before them, Elina reflected on the strange journey that had brought them here. Humanity had ventured into space seeking knowledge and perhaps glory. Instead, they found purpose, not merely to survive, but to contribute something unique to the cosmic tapestry. The revelation had indeed changed everything. And the transformation was only beginning.